Children in this country are having a hard time getting back to school. They are now kind of being bullied a little bit by parents to get them back to school. But because the Democrat Party is in the keeping of the teachers' unions, they're not sending them back to school. In California, this was posted online. This is a Zoom meeting of the Los Angeles La Mesa Spring Valley School Board. Now, all the people on the school board, and I don't mean to attack the school board because a lot of these people behaved really well in this video, but on this school board, all these people are on Zoom and you can see their faces. The vice president of the school board is invisible. She has blocked her face. You can't see her, but you can hear her voice. Her name is Charda Bell Fontenot, and she describes herself as a Black feminista. And I just want to play you these two cuts because they are just spectacular, and I haven't heard it played anywhere else, and it really is worth playing. The board sat down and said, we have to make a plan to reopen the school, and the voice you hear protesting that is Charda Bell Fontenot, Black feminista, vice president of the school board. It's cut two.
We have to give the teachers, we have to give the students, the parents a date. Of what at least we don't have to give anybody any date. We don't have to do anything that we don't want to do right now. That's what you don't understand. I don't know where you're getting your information or who's telling you that we have to make a decision today, but that is not how this works. We do not. I know that you're new to the school board. I'm not saying this is a slight to you, but we do not have to make a decision today. 70 to 80% of them have answered the survey. They want to come back to school. So this is what we're
the 70 to 80%, and where are they? I would like to know geographically from which school sites, which language group, and how we conducted this feedback. Where? Please give it to me before I can make a decision. I can't make one. I cannot make one. And I will not make one.
That is the voice of entitlement, not of victimhood, but is the voice of a country in which victimhood has been turned into entitlement. They're always talking about white privilege. Really what we have is victim privilege. I will not make a decision to open the school. She doesn't want to go back to work. She doesn't want to go back to work. You know, why should she? And when the woman says something like 80 to 90% of the people polled want the schools reopened, she starts to play the race card. She starts to say, what language are they from? What schools are they in? What neighborhoods are they in? Basically suggesting that maybe these are white people who want to go back to school. Maybe it's white people who want to go back to school. And when the school board president says to her, you're welcome to not vote, you're welcome to abstain from voting, she pulls the race card full force. This is cut three.
You're welcome to abstain, I believe, right?
There's no reason to be nasty with me, Ms. Wren.
And we can present it for vote. And starting, if you wish to vote no, you are more than welcome to, or you can.
I know what I'm welcome to do, you guys. I do. And I know that what we're doing is wrong. So how are we forcing? That seems like a very white supremacist ideology to force people to comply with, and conform. Just letting you know. Privilege. Check it, you guys. Matt. So I don't want to be a part of forcing anybody to do anything they don't want to do. That's what slavery is. I'm not going to be a part of it.
That's what slavery is. It's white supremacy to force people to go back to work. To force people to go back to work for pay that they basically said that they wanted to do. It's white supremacy. It's a grift. It's a grift. White supremacy is a grift. White supremacy is not a danger. It's not the danger to black people. There's always crazy people around. There's always mean people and bad people around. We all know that. That has nothing to do with anything. But white supremacy as a philosophy is not a problem. Jason Riley, good columnist for both City Journal and the Wall Street Journal, he made this point that he said, white supremacy is not minorities' big problem. And he talks about the fact that black people are not getting vaccinated. Black people are not getting vaccinated. And he says, some point to a general and longstanding lack of trust in government among many blacks, often invoked as the infamous Tuskegee experiment begun in the 1930s in which black men were promised but never given treatment for syphilis. But my creeping suspicion, says Jason Riley, is that something more sinister has taken place. This is why Jason Riley, who is a student of this, he's kind of a student of race relations in the country. This is why he thinks black people aren't being vaccinated. In recent years, and at a much louder volume than before, Black Americans have been encouraged by liberal elites to hate their country and distrust others based on race and ethnicity. This is the message that undergirds everything from the New York Times 1619 Project to workplace, quote, diversity, unquote, training and critical race theory. Now it's working to undermine public health. Blacks aren't going to fight the virus any differently than other groups. We're in this together. And the newfangled racial separatism that now operates under the guise of wokeness does no one any good, especially Black Americans. You know, evidence that Riley is right about this, by the way, is that in New York, Black people have died at a much higher rate of the Chinese flu than white people. But in Florida, where a Republican is governor, Ron DeSantis, and this kind of thing doesn't go on as much and this kind of rhetoric isn't as evident, whites and blacks are dying at exactly the same rate. At exactly the same rate. So maybe it's very possible that they are not getting this message of hating your government. The reason this is happening, remember, it's the grift. You're in the alley, they're surrounding you, they're shouting, oh, N-word this, and oh, this, and white supremacy this, and slavery that, and, systemic racism that, and you're going around saying, well, no, you're arguing about this. It's not about any of this. It is because a structure of financing that is worth billions of dollars was put in place in the 60s, the Great Society, and a flaw in the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which gave trial lawyers and the government unconstitutional powers to stop people from associating from who they wanted to. That has been in place for all these years, right? And now, as we look around and people have become more enlightened, because it was even as I was a kid, I remember there was a lot of systemic, institutionalized prejudice in this country, and it was bad. It was a terrible way to treat your fellow Americans because of the color of the skin. It was a grift then. Race was a grift then, and it's a grift now. It's the same people. It's the Democrats still using the grift. But blacks are starting to get it. They are starting to get the fact that people don't hate them anymore. All the talk about Donald Trump and what a racist he was, what a terrible guy he was, and all this stuff. When Donald Trump would go to those big rallies, those horrible racist rallies, and would say black unemployment is as low as it's ever been, the people would cheer. The people would cheer because they weren't white supremacists. They just wanted the country to work again. They wanted jobs to come back again. That hatred is gone. You can see when you look at cultural works like Hamilton, the message of Hamilton is that Hamilton is the Revolutionary War played by black people singing rap music and jazz music. That's a message. That says when you assimilate, the history of America becomes your history. And that really is the message of Hamilton, whether the guy meant it to be or not. That is what Hamilton is saying. That horror movie, excellent horror movie, Get Out, was saying, oh, if we assimilate, the white people are going to steal our souls. The white liberals are going to steal our souls if we assimilate. That was the message of that horror movie, Get Out. But that shows you that is the thing that people start worrying about when they assimilate. If blacks get the message that they are welcome and beloved and part of the country and we just want them to get on the freedom train with the rest of us, if they get that message, the Democrats are screwed. They are particularly screwed. Republicans have been terrible in spreading that message, but that's why this grift is going on. That's why the ambient lie, that's why the noise, that's why the shouting and everybody throwing their hands around and pointing their fingers and everybody panicking and all the racial hysteria about things that really don't matter very much, because the big grift is on, which is to keep black people exactly where they are, which is dependent on the Democrat Party.